Going back to what you said about Brian here, he has this amazing story. He's, done his homework. He's given it to other people. He crashed the party to meet you, or just to be around people that he knew would be the right people to get it to. But then you said there was a part of him that maybe people didn't believe in, and having had the same thing sort of said about myself, being too nervous. Sometimes I think it's hyper awareness. So how does somebody who maybe isn't that social networker, who just doesn't walk into a room and ooze confidence, how do they do that? How do they overcome that? Or do they give it to someone like yourself who is a people person, who knows how to kind of just be sort of in the moment? And
well, I was given the advice by my party crashing friend early on. He said, the worst thing that can happen is that they'll say no. So if that's the worst that can happen, go for it. Seriously, in the sense of as opposed to, it takes so much more energy. Yeah, your ego might get bruised a little bit, but the outcome could be amazing. And there have been those, situations where I've gone ahead and been confident. I think there was one time I was auditioning for a commercial, and I was literally like an hour and 30 minutes away from the audition during traffic hour, and I just wasn't going to make it in time. But I raced over there, and I got there like 5 minutes after they shut it down. I walked in and they're like, sorry, we're closed. And I walked out of the building, and you start to feel down. You're upset that you were in traffic, and if you've been in traffic in Los Angeles, instantly you know how that makes you feel. But I was becoming more frustrated at the fact that I just took no for an answer. So I went back and I said, listen, I've been driving for an hour and a half in LA traffic just to make this audition. I'm not late intentionally. It's, circumstantial. So please see me. And they did, and I booked the job. Sometimes you just have to push all that stuff aside, because the worst thing that he could have said was no. He could have said no. I said no once, I'll say it again. That's fine. But it's that kind of taking that initiative and making it happen. And I've been in situations where and I have really famous friends now, and you do always feel like, oh, I shouldn't ask them, but I don't give a rat's ass. I'll ask them, and the worst they can say is no, and if they hate me for just asking, that's on them. Because the thing is, you need to do what you need to do, as long as you're not disrespectful and mean and obnoxious, and accept the fact that someone said no, and respect that and move on to the next door. There's always another door as well. So I think taking that, and that's what we did with Mission Park, is that we went to these meetings, because we believed in the project. We believed in ourselves. And we got so many no's, constantly, no, change your characters to white. Your director stutters, he's not confident enough. All these things that had nothing to do with the actual project. And like I said, Armando Montelongo was above all that. And he saw the project for what it was and believed in it. And that's what we believed. We believed that we would find someone who saw what we saw, and we did. And then in the theatrical stages, we spent an entire year hearing no from every single studio in this city. Every distributor, no, no, no. We love the film, looks beautiful. We just can't market a film with all Latino casts, and most of them are unknown yet. And we just kept pushing. We're like, no, this film is going to get a theatrical distribution. It's going to get it. And David J. Phillips, my co-producer, he's been in the business for a while, and he had some really great relationships, and one of them was with AMC Theaters, and he gave them Mission Park. They loved it. And their perception is different from Hollywood's, because they're more like the Netflix of theater chains, you know? They know who is going into their theaters. They have that data. So when they see films, they see it from that perspective, as like, wow, this is a type of film that our audience would like, that people would come to see. And I think Netflix is the same, and their approach is different. And there's a whole new wave of doing things now, and Mission Park is sort of in the forefront of that.